Hi everyone, my name is Giulia Tegas and today I will introduce you to the IlVA case. IlVA is a steel production and transformation plant located in Italy. I chose this case because the plant has been subject to several environmental and human rights disasters. I tried to analyze it using the CSR concepts and some legal ones in order to give it an interdisciplinary perspective. This research is about whether the Italian government did not respond strongly enough to the environmental disaster of IlVA to protect the citizens of the Puglia region. So our research question is, to what extent has the Italian government responded to the environmental disaster of IlVA? IlVA is located in Taranto in the southern region of Puglia, and you can see it here where the arrow is. Why did I build it in Taranto? For three main reasons. First, it is close to the port, which is where all raw materials arrive to. Second, the land of the region is flat, and so it's easier to transport materials within the plant. Third, because the state wanted to improve the economic situation of the region by investing in infrastructure, which creates new businesses and jobs. At the moment, there are 11,000 people working there. Let's go quickly over its history. IlVA was founded in the 1960s with the name Italsider and was managed by the state until 1995, so more or less for 35 years. In 1995, the state privatized it and the Riva family group took over the ownership of the plant. In 2012, the plant goes under investigation for environmental and health disasters. In 2013, it goes under extraordinary administration, which means that three state commissioners took over the management of the plant as a consequence of the trial. In 2016, the plant is still polluting the area and the state tries to sell it. You can see it here more clearly in the timeline below. IlVA is the biggest steel plant in entire Europe. Just to give you an idea of how big the plant is, here is a list of a part of its infrastructure. As I previously mentioned, the plant goes under investigation for environmental crimes and pollution in 2012. The two main causes of pollution are, first, the mineral deposits. As you can see in this picture, were not covered and left in the open air. The same happens when transporting the materials from the port to the plant and vice versa. So the constant wind blew away parts of the mineral powers. Especially during windy days, the city was covered in black and red powder. This led to the pollution of nearby areas, which include water sources, fields, cattle, the city of Taranto, which is less than 1 kilometer away from the plant. The second cause is the emissions coming out of the furnaces, which were not measured and were generating toxic emissions not allowed and way over the limit established by law. In the next slides, you will see the city condition during windy and rainy days. The polluted environment resulted in the highest percentage of people with cancer compared to the national standards. It caused several deaths and created respiratory problems in most of the local population. This is all documented by state reports and investigations. During this scandal, the Italian government created a law decree in 2012 and 2015 which allowed the plant to continue its operations despite its extremely polluting and dangerous activities. The Italian Constitutional Court declared the law decree unconstitutional. This because the legislator has excessively favored the interest of continuing a national strategic production activity and neglected the inviolable constitutional rights to life and the protection to the right to health, so Article 2 and 32 of the Constitution. As a consequence, the right to a safe workplace was violated. Article 4 and 35 of the Constitution. Article 41 of the Constitution was violated too. This states that the business activities must act in order not to create damage to security, freedom, and human dignity. The Italian Constitutional Court confirmed the imbalance between economic interests and citizen rights in the choice made by the Italian state. Thanks to several commissions and international agreements, we now have the precautionary principle originated from the Rio Declaration in 1992. States have a negative and positive obligation towards its citizens. Negative is to protect citizens' rights from business misconduct. Positive is to adopt all necessary measures in order to prioritize and protect citizens' rights. For these reasons, the Italian state was held accountable by the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg for the right to life, right to health, to live in a safe environment, the precautionary principle, and the right to receive information held by its citizens. As a matter of fact, the citizens of Taranto were not aware of the polluted area, of its health and environmental damages and consequences, nor of the measures needed in order to restore the area. So the sentence is the Italian state has to apply all necessary measures in order to restore the area and help its citizens. The polluter pays principle originated from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in 1972. It is now ratified by 175 countries. The principle states that the person in charge of a business activity should bear the costs of preventing environmental and human rights damages. Moreover, it should bear the cleanup costs too, in case of environmental contamination or human rights damages. So the Italian state was forced to implement cleanup measures, and part of the management team of the IlVA group has been incarcerated. So what is the current situation of the plant? State commissioners took over the management of the plant, but the pollution levels did not decrease. ArcelorMittal, which is another company playing in the same sector, offered to buy the plant and clean up the area. But Italy revoked the penal shield granted to the invitation to tender. So ArcelorMittal stepped back because they did not want to be sued for health causes they did not directly provoke. The production plant is still working and polluting because we do not want to lay off 11,000 people. So throughout its history, the management and Italian state ignore the severe environmental damages and its effects on the population. There are some basic codes of conduct which the state did not apply to ensure the safety of its own citizens. I would like to remind you that the plant has been under state management for 30 years too. The pollution is still happening, and although some basic safety measures have been applied, the area is still polluted and keeps affecting citizens' health. There is a general lack of information of what is going to happen to the 11,000 people who work there and on how to clean the area. So this disaster has been happening for several years now, and we still did not manage to come up with a solution while the environmental suffers and the citizens are getting sick of cancer and other diseases. Thank you for listening.